struggle with patience? Is the time when you're on hold waiting to speak with a customer service representative that makes you crazy? Is it the long, slow line at the grocery store at the end of a hard day, or the 5 minutes you wait when your loved one's running late for dinner, or that traffic? Oh my. What about big things when you're waiting for your doctor to call with test results, or you're waiting to hear back about whether you got the promotion at work, or waiting for that grade from coursework? Is it one of those things that just makes you crazy and cuts short your patience? I think patience is a muscle. Like any muscle, we have to exercise it in a disciplined, incremental way. The Bible makes it clear that patience is a crucial part of the life of the believer. James 5, verse 7 says, "Be patient, brothers and sisters, until the coming of the Lord." See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it. You've heard of the steadfastness of Job, the patience of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how the Lord is compassionate and merciful. I love the word picture that develops from the Greek word used here for patience. It technically calls on us to stretch our passion, our emotions over time. For some of us, in certain experiences, our passion, our emotions could explode abruptly. That's the opposite of patience. Most of us have strong passions about some things, or maybe many things. And this word calls on us to control or manage our passions and spread that passion over a longer period of time. We aren't called to passivity by this word, but to an even steadfastness and a management of our passions and emotions. Every year, I plant a garden. I love to plant a garden. It's really a practice for me in the exercise of patience. This is my package of okra seeds. I just pulled this year's okra plants, but I'm ready to plant next year's okra. Right down here on the bottom, it says something interesting. It says 56 to 64 days to harvest. That's a long time. I put these seeds in the ground. I take care of my soil. I water it, and I watch and I watch. And finally, this little row of seeds, it feels like years, comes out of the ground. And those little seeds grow into 8-foot okra plants. And I put them in April. And by middle of June, we're pulling a little bit of okra off there, and life is good. But it takes some patience for those okra seeds to turn into okra plants. This passage in James says, "Consider the farmer, the gardener. He puts his seeds in, she puts her seeds in, but it takes time. So learn some patience. Some things take time. Some of the best things take time." Proverbs 16:32 says, "Whoever is slow to anger, to passion, is better than the mighty, and he who rules his own spirit is stronger than a general who can take a great city." It's tough to manage our own emotions and our responses sometimes. Proverbs 25 says, "With patience, even a great ruler may be persuaded." It just takes time. It also says, "A soft tongue will break a bone." Soft tongues are not, they're not come with impatience, they come with patience. The New Testament teaches us that personal relationship is at the core of the lived Christian life. Patience is a crucial foundation for living out those Christian relationships. Ephesians 4, 2 and 3 says, "With all humility and gentleness, with patience, bear with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace." Who doesn't want unity of spirit and peace? But it takes patience to get there. Colossians 3 says, "Put on the compassionate heart, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, and bear with one another. And if you have a complaint against another, forgive each other, as the Lord has forgiven you, but also you must forgive. But you must do this with patience." This is how we live together. Galatians 5 says, "There's fruit of the Spirit." How do we know someone's living in a good spirit with the Lord? There's fruit. And those fruits are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Patience. We have to be patient. And the New Testament points out that learning patience is a process of a maturing faith. It's part of growth, and it comes from pain and disappointment and suffering sometimes. James 1:3 says, "For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness." Another word for patience. Romans 5 says, "We rejoice in our sufferings." Why? Because we know that suffering produces endurance, another word for patience, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. It's a process, it's a learning, it's something we grow. I think of patience as a muscle that takes incremental, careful, over and over again, disciplined exercise. We're responsible for growing that patient muscle within ourselves. Here's some practical considerations for each of us to work toward greater patience. Just practical steps. Start small. You can't rid your life of impatience overnight. Choose one of those areas in your life that's difficult, but not too difficult, and start there. Something small and manageable, and work on that. Make it a practice, just like you'd be working a muscle. Pay attention when irritation of impatience starts. Notice in your own life, this is a work about us, about you. Get curious about what actually happens in the moment that you feel impatient. Think about it. What really sets you off? How does that work? What are your fears and your worries, your anxieties that make that thing cause you to respond too quickly? Work to understand the addictive nature of anger, irritation, or outrage if you have them in your life. They produce a flood of chemical response in your brain. Are you addicted to that? And if so, if these are part of your experience, maybe you need to find some help for reducing this pattern in your life. Develop a more mature attitude toward discomfort and pain. Pain is a part of life. It has its purposes. It pushes us to find solutions and it pushes us to grow. So to have a mature response, like, oh, sometimes we're uncomfortable. Okay, that's life. That's a mature response. Recognize that there are some things that you cannot control. You just simply can't. I'm not real good at this. I like to be in control, but I've had to learn, Bill, you can't be in control of everything. Work on your overall emotional health. Tired people are not patient people. Get some sleep. Exercise more as a way of caring for yourself. Try meditation. Try yoga. Better people are more patient people. Take care of you so that you can be patient. Take the other person's side once in a while. Back up and get a different perspective. In those encounters which make you impatient, think about how the other person is experiencing that moment and think less about yourself and more about them. This takes practice too. Whatever makes you impatient, forget about the results for a moment and think about the process. Life is process. Goals are great. I'm a big fan of goals, but I'm a big fan of the process. I've had to learn, like, hey, let's think about the steps along the way and relish those and celebrate those. Practice thankfulness. Gratitude often changes the picture and washes away impatience. Say thank you. Be thankful for the moment. Be thankful for the others. Be thankful for the process and move ahead. Sometimes you need to just wait. Yeah, some of us aren't good at it. We're time people. We're action oriented, but sometimes we need to wait just a little in a tough spot. Learn to count to 20. Put a little space and time in there. Sometimes we need to take a walk away. I'm not talking about passive aggressive moves, but I am talking about separating yourself from the situation for a moment and return a better person in a better frame of mind. Keep in mind what's important. Keep perspective. Stop, breathe, and get things back into perspective. And keep practicing. Remember, it's a muscle. Every time the situation stretches your patience to a dangerous thinness, just think how you're having the opportunity to practice your patience. You're developing that muscle. But when you fail, forgive yourself and ask other people to forgive you and get back on and start again. These are just steps to help you work on your patience. There's a scientific study of personal happiness. There's scientists who spend their lives figuring out what makes us happy, how we can be better people. If you can get yourself into Yale, you can study in a class in personal happiness. Social scientists tell us that learning patience is one of the major steps toward the goal of personal happiness. Let's work patiently toward an increasing powerful patience muscle and the happy life that can come from it. Happy for us and happy for those in relationship around us. Hey, thanks for spending a few minutes with me today thinking about patience. I'm not good at it. I'm working on it. It's a journey. Let's get to work on patience. Thanks for being with me today.